You ever have one of those days where flipping a rib on the grill turns into a courtroom showdown, a social media circus, and somehow the end of a multi-million-dollar scam? Yeah, that happened. I'm telling you, the BBQ had just started, and the reign of our HOA tyrant was about to end for good. Why? Well, let me back up a sec. I'd barely set the grill to medium heat when I heard the kind of screeching tires that only mean trouble, especially out on Sullivan Ranch. That's 40 acres of Texas soil my family's poured sweat into for 3 generations. And who storms in like she's leading a SWAT raid? Karen Foster, the HOA president, and self-declared queen of community control. She came at me waving her phone and barking orders, yelling that my barbecue was some sort of environmental crime and that I had to stop immediately because apparently my own land now belonged to the community. If you'd heard her, you'd think she was about to call in the National Guard. Now see, the pond, the land, every inch of it had been ours since 1952. My dad used to say this patch was our family's blood, sweat, and prayers made real. I just wanted to honor him, you know. Fire up some ribs, take in the scent of mesquite, try to remember what it felt like before the house got so quiet after he passed. But Karen was having none of it. Instead of talking it out, she calls the cops, 2 squad cars, no less, like I'm cooking meth instead of brisket. They show up, and before I can say barbecue, I'm the one getting grilled. It took about 30 seconds for the whole situation to flip on its head, because what Karen didn't know was that her obsession with my grill was about to blow open a fake property line scheme, millions in fraud and drag in 17 neighborhoods. You know what I mean? You can't make this stuff up. 3 months since Dad died, and the ranch still felt too big without his laugh bouncing off the pond. I kept replaying his lessons, how to mend an engine, how to mend a broken heart, and how not to let anyone push you around, not even a fancy-suited lawyer or a power-drunk HOA president. That morning, I'd just finished seasoning a ribeye with Dad's secret blend when I saw a black Mercedes creep up my drive. Out steps Marcus Webb, tall, cold, sharp suit hair, so slick you could see your reflection in it, clipboard thicker than a law book. He walks up with that "I'm just doing my job" smile and tells me, "Mr. Sullivan, I represent Willowbrook Estates, HOA. We need to discuss your activities on this property." He points at my grill like it's a hazard to humanity. He starts quoting rules section this clause that needing environmental assessments, advance approvals, all the red tape he can muster. I look at him and say, "Partner, this is my land bought, paid for, and deeded since my great-granddad's day. Your HOA's got about as much say over my barbecue as a goldfish has over NASA." I show him the old deed, yellowed, sure, but clear as day. Marcus snaps photos, barely hiding his skepticism, and warns me this is all very complex and that I'd better familiarize myself with community guidelines. He leaves with that corporate robot stride, but not before giving me a final chilly warning like he's moving chess pieces I can't even see. Well, I tried to get back to grilling, but the mood was gone, like someone announcing the world's ending halfway through a sunset. The pond still sparkled, Dad's laughter was still in my head, but there was something else in the air. Trouble. And it wasn't the kind that blows over. I watched Marcus drive away and felt it in my gut. This was just the start. 2 days later, I'm back at the pond, stubborn enough to try again. That piece lasted all of 14 minutes because here comes Karen Foster this time, flanked by 2 police officers. She's dressed like she's about to host a reality show, heels and all, shrieking that I'm trespassing, setting up an illegal operation, probably endangering protected wetlands. She documented everything, taken photos, even consulted her legal team. You'd think I was dumping toxic waste, not flipping a ribeye. Officer Martinez, all weary resignation, asks for my ID and explanation, while his partner Rodriguez actually looks at my deed and then starts checking GPS coordinates around the property. Karen's hovering, getting redder by the second. But then Rodriguez finds the truth. Karen is standing 15 feet inside my land. The community land starts way past my fence. Karen goes from peacock confident to ghost white to tomato red in a heartbeat. She sputters, accuses me of using fake documents, but Rodriguez is already building a case against her for trespassing. Martinez just stares, probably realizing he's been played. That's when Mrs. Thompson, neighbor 80 if she's a day, wanders over and whispers loud enough for all to hear that Karen has connections at the police station. Her cousin works dispatch, her bridge partner's married to a sergeant. Don't expect this to be over. Sure enough, Karen starts snapping more pictures for her next crusade. her confidence shaken but her resolve somehow sharper. I couldn't sleep that night, mind running through the whole ugly mess. Around 3 a.m. I walked to the pond, sat where Dad and I always did, and thought about running, just selling out, escaping the circus. But Dad wasn't a runner. Next morning I dig through his old papers and find a journal. His neat handwriting details months of strange visitors, surveyors, and updating boundaries. Karen's name comes up again and again, along with mysterious men in suits. Dad suspected a coordinated effort to force landowners out with pressure paperwork and legal threats. That's when Duke Morrison, Dad's old friend, a retired insurance investigator, shows up. Duke tells me Dad wasn't just documenting trespassers. He was building a case against a big corporate push to buy out the area for pennies on the dollar using the HOA as muscle. But Dad died before he could finish. "Son, you're not fighting for barbecue rights anymore," Duke said, dead serious. "You're fighting for everything your family built." He tells me to check Dad's safe. He left me more than just deeds. I felt the grief turn into something else. Determination. But Karen's not done. She launches a Facebook blitz, photos of my grill, the pond, carefully edited to look like an environmental disaster. Suddenly the whole neighborhood's talking. Hashtags like #Willowbrook safety blow up. Neighbors pick sides, and somehow Mrs. Patterson 3 streets over can't sleep because of my barbecue smoke. Bob Henderson, who's never said a word to me, becomes an expert on wetlands. But the real shock is when Marcus Webb returns, this time with Jessica Martinez from Pinnacle Properties. They offer me a buyout, a third of market value for everything, water rights and all. I politely tell them to shove it. Then my phone buzzes, a message from Sophia Chin, an attorney who specializes in HOA abuse. She's been tracking Pinnacle's tactics: create disputes, pressure residents, snap up land, cheap, develop luxury resorts. My property, she tells me, is the key. My pond is the main water source for the entire development plan. Without it, their $500 million resort dies on the vine. And Karen, she's been getting $10,000 a month from Pinnacle to stir up trouble and drive people out. Mrs. Rodriguez, the cop's mom, even brings us recordings of Karen talking about removing obstacles, her voice cold as ice. So Sophia and I go public. We live stream the evidence right from my pond. Duke, Mrs. Rodriguez, neighbors, everyone pitches in. At first, viewers flood in 8,000. Then Marcus tries to kill the stream with fake court orders and legalese. The viewer count plummets. Karen grins, and I think we're sunk. But Duke steps up, presenting proof of fraud. Sophia debunks the court order live, and Mrs. Rodriguez drops her bombshell audio. Neighbors pour in, sharing stories. The stream blows up, 15,000 people watching, rooting for the little guy. When the dust settles, Karen's crew retreats, faces redder than a stop sign. 6 months later, we're in court, Karen bawling about how my barbecue ruined her life. Marcus nowhere to be found. Rumor is Cayman Islands Pinnacle Properties bankrupted and under FBI investigation. The judge sentences Karen to 3 years probation, a $50,000 restitution, and best of all, community service at the Sullivan Memorial Park, the nature preserve I built in Dad's honor. All 17 neighborhoods Pinnacle targeted are dissolving their HOAs. Families are fighting back for their homes, and my ranch has turned into a symbol of people power. Even Duke wrote a book, How I Brought Down a Multi-million-dollar Scam with a Camera and Patience. Every Sunday I still fire up the grill by Dad's pond, but now there's a plaque that says, "This land belongs to the people, not the greedy." Karen's somewhere out there pulling weeds and learning what real community service looks like. So, have you ever had to pick between staying quiet or standing up to someone bigger and louder? Share your story in the comments. Who knows? Maybe it'll inspire the next person fighting for what's right. If this hit home, like and share, and remember, regular folks can still change the world one barbecue at a time.